All right, good. So welcome everybody to the Referral Challenge Q&A Mastermind call for Friday, July 28th. We have a new group in the Referral Challenge now, and so I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping just to explain how we do things here for those of you who are new. It's pretty free-flowing. There's no real strict agenda to this call other than to be as supportive as we possibly can for you guys, just to provide the answers that you need. What we'd like to do, the way that we work this, we just sort of go around the room and get an update from you. Just tell us, how you're doing. And if you're not, haven't even dug into the Referral Challenge yet, that's fine. Just give us an update in general about how your business is doing. Let us know if there's any problems or obstacles that you're encountering that we can help you with, or if there's a specific subject. And it doesn't have to be specific to the Referral Challenge. We like to try and keep it around those topics and themes, but we frankly have discussed just about every aspect of running a fitness business in this group, and we do it very, very well because we've got tons of experience in this group, lots of years of hands-on experience, and so we can be helpful in just about any way. And I'm not just referring to Aaron and me. Of course, I'm referring to your peers as well. We have a tremendous mastermind that occurs here, literally. Okay, and then the only other thing I want to mention is if you didn't see my email today, there was this part 2 to the week 1 release, and that went out today, and that includes the Big Day campaign, which is one of the cash flow surge campaigns that we promised you. And that's something that just doesn't get much easier to roll out a campaign than that. The entire investment for you is about an hour of your time to customize those emails and queue them up in your broadcast to get ready for the rollout. Other than that, there is no cost. There's no landing page that needs to be built. There's no advertising that needs to be built, or there's nothing. It's just email and phone. That's it. And this is all based on a campaign that Aaron created called the Tax Day campaign, which is also a Black Friday campaign and an Easter Day campaign. And it's done very, very well in those 3 instances. And this time I've adapted it to be used really at any time you want throughout the year. You just sort of pick the time frame and plug it in. But if you're going to use it, you definitely need to watch the video that I recorded so you understand the strategy behind it, and you don't get overly concerned about the discount feature, because it's a strategic process. And as long as your back-end conversion is strong, shouldn't have any issues. There will be tire kickers, that's fine, but you should also get a decent number of new folks that you can transition into full-time members. All right, with that said, Aaron, anything that you want to add or talk about?
Nothing more than the post that I put up over there on the TRC that if you haven't read it, I hope you will. The distraction factor is really big, and so read the post that I made and do what you can to stay focused on what we're offering here. It'll change your life.
Aaron, could you repeat that? I was distracted by my phone.
Let him ask.
You and I'll be wrestling here in a little bit, pal.
Yeah, good luck with that, Aaron. Maybe pinky wrestle.
Just
grab him around the kneecap or something and just hold on.
Yeah,
I didn't pass that one up. It was too easy.
Listen, pal, I've got news for you, just so you know. I'm glad this is being recorded because this is top-notch information. Bone is harder than muscle, pal.
To a certain degree.
Yeah. Humor aside, what Aaron's talking about, that post is epic and it's powerful and it really needs to be, hopefully will get your attention and you'll appreciate what Aaron is conveying there, because a focused mind, there's nothing more powerful. It is the way forward, and that the number one killer of businesses today is distraction. It just there's no getting around that. And so that's what we want to try and do here in the referral challenge, is keep you tightly focused on the most important strategy in business, which is developing, nurturing, and leveraging relationships in a variety of ways. All right. So let's go ahead and get rolling here. Rick, we'll start with you, since you might have to bail quick. Just give us an update. I know you're traveling and you got so many balls in the air, but just, share whatever you want to share, and just love to hear what's going on.
Okay. Actually, last night, thank you for coming on our mastermind meeting. People really appreciated it. I think it helped give a little bit more clarity as what we're trying to do together and how exciting it's going to be. So Jason and I both appreciated that. It was good to get both of you on there at the same time, actually.
Yeah.
So it's just been working towards putting those things together. Obviously, Aaron and I've got some things we're working on that are pretty exciting, that is just going to make everything that we're all trying to do so much better.
Hey, Rick, let me interrupt you just for a second. And because I'd like to get you to talk briefly about the Pro Diets and the JLab Pro, the integration, and what you're rolling out, because we are about to launch, for those of you, well, some of you, the older TRC members have already seen it, the Smart Start Fitness Funnel, which is the ultimate lead magnet and client converter. And that's the Facebook group thing. And one of the monetization methods that we're going to build into that is nutrition. And we're absolutely going to encourage you to take advantage of Rick's Pro Diets and JLab Pro, because it is awesome and cool. So if you could just talk briefly about that, Rick.
Yeah, basically we have come up with a really cool way to implement nutrition programming and selling nutrition through the Facebook platform. And we've done it in a way to where Pro Diets is providing the individually customized registered dietitian design meal plans, but we've taken it a step further and we're integrating JLab Pro's supplements into it. So whenever it recommends, for example, a protein shake, as a snack or something, it's going to be a live link that takes people to purchase from JLab Pro. More importantly, you will have affiliate links that it'll automatically embed in there. And when somebody goes to your site through Pro Diets, you're going to make the 30% commission. So it's going to be seamless. It doesn't take away from anything else you're doing if you're selling other supplements. It is effectively a supplement to your supplement business. Okay? Being the word supplement itself means in addition to, not in place of. So it really works well, because you're going to get people, the way we're building this out, and all of a sudden people have 300, 400, 500 people in a Facebook group paying $9.95 a month recurring income. Well, they're also going to go to where you're sending them for nutrition, okay, for their registered dietitian meal plans. And it's also going to have, a place for them to go to buy the protein powder or the krill fish oil when it's needed. It's going to have a link right there. It just makes sense to have it embedded with your affiliate link, so you're collecting that commission sale, not JLab Pro. So it's going to be really cool the way we're doing it. And then we're also rolling out the Ultimate Supplement Sales System, which is literally 6 months worth of done-for-you content, emails, social media posts. There's 4 different lead magnets. We're literally 7 days a week of content. There's over 250 recipes you're going to be able to give to your people, just to constantly give them great content, educational content. So it's not always buy. It's, to, again, coin the phrase that our buddy Pat Rigsby says, you have to make a lot more deposits into that account than you do withdrawals if you want it to be successful. So we're giving you literally 7 days a week for the next 6 months with content to make those deposits.
It's absolutely awesome, and I'll tell you, we know the guys. I'm excited about it for a lot of reasons. Rick touched on many of them right there. The seamless integration, that's so important. It's the speed with which you can get to the money. you know, and without, you know, by lowering the barriers, you know, taking away those barriers. You look at Amazon, the perfect example of how to do that. That's a beautiful thing. But what I'm most excited about are the people behind it, Rick and Jason Hunter. If you don't know Jason Hunter, he has every certification and degree I think that is humanly possible to get in nutrition. He is about you talk about a tier 1A level nutritionist, it is Jason Hunter. On top of that, he is the guy, largely, in my view, that built pro-grade nutrition. I know Ryan and Jim LeBady were, you know, behind that as well, but Jason was the guy who put out all the content, and the content was amazing. So now they're going to be leveraging, I would imagine, much of that, or, you know, adapting it, whatever, for JLab Pro. So
and then some.
Yeah, you can be very confident. And this is not about a commercial for Rick stuff or Jason stuff or anything like that. This is about helping you do what we want to help you do, which is to grow your business, get more clients, sell more products and services so that you generate more revenue and have a better, sweeter, more awesome life. And that's the objective. So
and we want you making more money so you can enjoy your ideal life and have a business that's actually a business, not something that's just a job you're going to every day.
Right.
Let me interject here. What, for the new guys who don't know, Rick, if you'll just back up and tell them what percentage of income comes from nutrition in your own business, this will kind of clear that up a little bit.
54% of everything of my gross income over the last 5 years has been based on nutrition coaching and some sort of nutrition monetization.
And Rick has a brick and mortar business, and yet 54% of his whole income comes through this platform. That's just shocking.
Yeah, there's 10 different ways that we monetize nutrition in my business.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And one of the great things about nutrition is that it compared to selling services, personal training services, it's a piece of cake. It is
provided it is positioned properly.
No doubt. You always got to look at that. But the sale is much easier to make. And with the price being right, this is one of the issues that I have. You know, for a long time when I owned NPE, we got behind Shackley. And it was Shackley, for those of you who don't know, is a multi-level marketing company. Great products. And we built a huge Shackley business because all the folks that came into NPE, we encouraged them to join Shackley, and we provided them with done-for-you tools and things to sell the stuff. So the business got very big very fast. But the problem with it is the cost of the products was, as with all MLM products, the cost is substantially higher than what they can get out on the marketplace, and that can be a problem when your clients are not, when they're required essentially to maintain a $150 or $100 plus monthly purchase in order to maintain their auto ship and all that stuff to get all the benefits and whatnot, as opposed to just being able to buy piecemeal what they want, what they need through JLab Pro. So it's a much easier sale to make. It's a much easier sale to stick, and that's where the money is. It's in the sticking. It's in the month-to-month repurchasing of those products. So anyway, very exciting.
You have so many different ways that a prospect or client can purchase supplements: via email, via the Facebook group, via conversations with them. It's just going to all, I mean, this builds press up upon press up. It just gets progressive and keeps growing and keeps growing. And just like the referral challenge, which you knew people are about to find out, this is just a very progressive system. Well, that's the way things should work. When you get them in place and you get them working properly, they just keep improving on themselves instead of, you know, hitting a plateau. You're about to find that out in the referral group as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. And last thing on this is that done correctly, and of course we will, and Rick and Jason will too, the nutrition sale, it's very comparatively easy to make. It's also the perfect front end for training on the back end. So you sell somebody nutrition at a low price point, that you know, it's just like any effective marketing strategy. You want to have, you guys are familiar with Ryan Dyson, Perry Belcher, and those guys at Digital Mailer, they always talk about the tripwire product. You know, it's just a low barrier, and we in the fitness industry we use front end offers, which are low barrier offers. What you want to do is get them in on something easy, and then it's much easier to upsell them. And nutrition is potentially the easiest front end offer you'll have.
And the way we have it designed, it's going to be really, really easy to bring them in. And, you know, it's just going to lead. It's just going to be a feeding ground for your training programs as well if you structure it properly.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, thank you very much for that, Rick. I appreciate it. And Rick's out in Vegas right now at a mastermind, and so he might have to bail shortly, but we appreciate you making time to be on the call today. Because, Rick, one of the great things about everybody that comes on these calls is just, as I mentioned earlier, it's a mastermind component. It's adding value. It's not just about what Aaron and I can contribute. It's about what all of us contribute collectively. So let's, Rick, unless there's anything else, I'm going to move on.
The only thing before I get out of here, because I know I will have to leave shortly, I just wanted to touch base with Adrian. You got everything I sent you okay the other day, buddy? It all made sense to you?
Yeah, it did. So looking forward to using that for some of the coaches. The trick will be, I think, like it'd be easier to use it with somebody who's just starting off. So the trick is going to be to kind of revise it according to where they are now in their paths. Yeah. Useful.
You'll be able to do that. And then, like I said, when I get back, I'll look for the one for your admin as well.
That would be, that'd be key because since we're hiring one now, so the timing is pretty good. So
yeah, I mean, I know I've got something structured out with all the roles that I expect of them. Yep. I know I can get that to you as soon as I get back. I may have to search over 2 or 3 computers and external hard drives to find the actual work process that I had for them, like what I sent you for the intern.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, Rick. Appreciate it.
Anything, guys? I've been beating on him about his darn getting on himself too hard about his selling. I think we actually might have put something in place that I think is going to help him, though. And if I'm gone, he can elaborate on it a little bit. But I think if you go about it that way, it's going to make your life less stressful, buddy.
Okay. Thanks for that.
All right.
Adrian's bummed because he's not closing at 99%. He's not happy with 97.
Let me have my standards, Eric.
That is a high standard.
Let me do it.
I tried to work on them a little bit, to be honest with you.
Hey, I got 3 for 3 today. That's 100%. I'm happy. I'm done.
Good for you.
There you go. See? Met my standard.
Yeah. That's fantastic. It's good. It's you challenge yourself. That's that, especially in sales. I mean, you should set challenging benchmarks. You just need to cut yourself some slack when they don't.
But what you might be able to do, Adrian, because I know I'll be getting out of here, it's kind of explain what we talked about yesterday, how, when to start looking and figure out what's wrong and whatever. Because if everybody tries to always hit 100%, they are going to get frustrated.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe you can explain to them when we're gone what we shared.
Yeah, I can do that. Sure, about staying engaged and listening. I can do that.
That and setting a minimum and then knowing when to evaluate where you're going wrong.
Yeah, I can talk about that for you if you want me to, sure.
Awesome.
I do. But first I want to get to some of the newer folks in the group and get some feedback or questions and start handling that. And then we'll jump over to you, Adrian. So, Anthony, okay. I'm going to put you on the spot first, brother. Here's what I'd just like to know. First of all, if you just tell us what kind of business you run, and thanks, Rick. Tell us what kind of business you run, Anthony, and then also let us know if there's any issues that you've run into in the referral challenge, anything that's you're finding challenging, or it's all challenging, but anything that you're finding difficult, any big obstacles that are in the way, or any wins you've had, just anything that you'd like to discuss and share with us that we can help you with. So, Anthony, if you want to kick us off, that would be great.
Yes. So I'm actually a martial arts school owner, and I have a fitness component to it as well.
Okay.
Kickboxing, mainly kickboxing. So I'm just trying to, right now, build my system up a little bit more. I've kind of been stuck for the last couple of years, not going that much. I decided I want to go a lot further now, both in the martial arts and in the fitness kickboxing part of it as well. in terms of the implementing the system, I just start getting into it. So I'm going to really start working on it next week in more detail. I'm trying to get that up and set up and going now.
It sounds good. So is there anything, regarding the referral challenge or even outside of the referral challenge, anything related to your business right now that you think we might be able to help you with? Any questions that you have that you'd like to put in front of the group? If not, it's no problem, but I just want to give you the opportunity if you do have something.
Have you seen people use the system for like the martial art part of it and of it as well? Like I'm in a Taekwondo school.
Yeah. I don't know that if we have any martial arts schools yet. Aaron, does that ring a bell at all with you?
It doesn't, but Anthony, I opened a kickboxing facility here in Birmingham, one of the more unique ones. We'll have to shoot you over a link so you can see it. I'll do it over in the chat in a moment, but it'll be seamless for you. It'll be perfect. It'll work. All right. So just because you haven't done it doesn't mean you're not in the right place.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good point. And that's because what we're doing is building, nurturing, leveraging relationship. So and that's universal. It's the type, because we've got, whether you've got yoga or CrossFit or outdoor boot camp or martial arts or frankly, chiropractic or physical therapy, any of those things. If you sell a service business where you want to get a client who stays with you and continues to work with you over time and refers to you on a consistent basis, the system that we have works. The only thing that you'll need to do, and we can help you with this for sure, is adapt some of the language where it says, come in and lose weight. You might want to say, come in and increase your discipline, or whatever the big benefit points are with martial arts. And we can certainly help you with that if you have any questions.
Okay, but also I have the fitness kickboxing part of it as well, so I do stuff.
Right. All right, good. Well, thank you for being a part of the referral challenge and for being our first victim today.
Okay.
All right, good. Sean, I'm going to move over to you. Same questions. If you've got, just first of all, tell us what kind of business you run, and then let us know if there's any issues that you're running into that we can help you with, or just give us an update on your business, whatever you'd like.
Okay. I run a training facility in North Carolina, probably 125 clients right now. And basically where I am is, I'm not charging enough, essentially. We've got enough people where I need staff, but it's hard to make payroll. So what I've gotten done so far with the challenge is I've started finding a charity. Now I've started that process, and clients seem enthusiastic about it. The way I've done it is we just started, I don't know, a little over a year ago. And so we've kind of taken a handful of our original members and made kind of an MVP group out of them. Mm-hmm. And so I'm getting their ideas, and I'm going to send them those ideas in an email to the rest of the clients that haven't voted on it, I guess. And so I'm just in that process right now. And the biggest thing is I'm just trying to grow the overall clientele to a point where it's sustainable with the amount of staff I have, I guess. Number one goal.
Yeah, gotcha. So when you say facility, it's an indoor facility?
Yeah. We have outdoor space as well. It's an indoor facility.
Okay. And is it sports specific, or is it just general,
It's primarily women's fitness. We're starting to, grow a little bit of a male class as well. And then we're really making an effort at youth conditioning as well, because that's kind of all of our backgrounds. And that's kind of feeding off of the people we already have. Their kids are coming in, that kind of stuff. But 90% of our business comes from female group training. Okay,
great. And so what is your average member pay? You said it's too little. How low is it?
12-month agreements, $129.
$129 a month? Yeah. And what part of North Carolina are you in?
Jacksonville, which is coastal North Carolina. There's a Campbell June Marine Corps bases here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I lived in Raleigh for a long time, and so yeah, I'm pretty familiar. Okay, good. Is the is Camp Lejeune right there? Is it like yeah? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a lot of military spouses.
Primarily, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know, one of the people he's not in the referral challenge, but he's a longtime friend of mine, great client I've worked with for years and years, by the name of Coach R.B. Berry. He's a former master sergeant. He lives out in California, Oceanwood, I want to say. But he's a former Marine Corps master sergeant, and he was a fitness trainer there. And he currently lives right next to a military base, and he gets 90% of his clients are women that are spouses. You might want to find him on Facebook and just reach out to him. He's as generous and nice a guy as you'll ever want to meet, and he'll probably have some real good feedback for you. Of course, we'll provide lots of feedback too, but he's a good point of contact.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. So I love the idea of the MVP group that you've formulated. And this is one of the things that we talk about quite a bit is pulling together sort of a group. And Adrian can talk to this a little bit because he does it effectively in his business. Is exactly what you're talking about, just having sort of an advisory board almost of your clients that you can really trust and empower to help you spread the word and give you good advice and give you good feedback. So I think that's a great way to go about it. What about your charity? Have you nailed it down, or are you still trying to figure, I mean, have you nailed down your choices, or are you still trying to figure out where you're going to
go? I've got 4 out of 5 choices. One of them is it's hard to find local charities, which I'd like to do if possible, that cover all the topics that the people in the advisory group we want to see. So I'm just going to have to. It's a large town only because of the Marine Corps here, but the core of the town's really small, so there's not a lot. So I'm not sure. Would you recommend just looking for a national charity, or?
You know, in your case, because you're right by the base and because it's a military base, it would make a lot of sense for you to have a military charity. I mean, it really would. It would be neat though if you found one like we did when we launched Push-Ups for Charity. When I owned NPE, launched Push-Ups for Charity back in, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. We originally were going to partner with Make-A-Wish Foundation. Incredibly difficult. They were like the worst to try and deal with, and I hate saying that because they do good work, you know, for charity. But they looked at us and they're like, "Ah, you're small time." We raised over $2 million. That's not small time, but they just kind of blew us off. So we went to Wounded Warrior, and thank goodness we did. That was a great choice. Wounded Warrior loved us, but Wounded Warrior's grown so much, and now there's some stories about, I don't know, but I know there's some very, very good smaller military and maybe Marine Corps specific charities that you might want to look into.
Okay.
And the reason I would just try and keep it as small with a small one, because a small one can be a real partner. A big one, they're dealing with corporations and all this stuff, and they don't have time for us.
That was kind of what I had. Yeah, that's why I was trying to pare it down. There's about 3 that seem local enough for it to really be beneficial for them and, you know, for us in a sense of making a relationship with them.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll figure that part out. I had a quick question though. I've gone over it a couple of times, but you know, with things going on, I'm answering the phone now. But the Facebook check-ins. Now, I think it's like a donation-based thing as people check in. Like, you give me an example?
It's coming out of your pocket, so you choose. A lot of guys get Adrian to talk about this, but one of the things that, like I know Fred Zoller was doing, I think around 10 cents a check-in. Genesis this year, he can talk about it too. What they're doing in terms of and Wayne. Wayne is perfect because I didn't see him because his picture's not up. But Wayne, they can give you some feedback around 10 to 25 cents a check-in, somewhere in that range, maybe even. Anyway, we'll figure that out. But so it's out of your pocket. All you're doing is counting the check-ins that come in each day, and the way you do that is by making sure that people tag you, so it goes into your personal profile, so you can easily count them or have your admin count them in your profile each day. And then at the end of the month, you just, you know, you keep a running total every day. You add it up at the end of the month, times it by whatever donation you're going to make, and then write your check. And you've probably seen in that check-in checklist, there's a picture of Wayne with his donating his first check to charity. So that's essentially how it works. Did you have more in-depth question about it?
That's about it. Yeah.
That's it. Okay. All right. Good. All right, man. Well, then we'll keep moving. Sean, thank you very much. Appreciate having you in the referral challenge, and appreciate your contribution to the call.
Thanks.
All right. Fred's here too. Good. All right, Matt, I'm going to jump down to you, brother. Let's, same thing. Just tell us what kind of business you're in, and any issues you're up against regarding the referral challenge or anything else in your business that you'd like to discuss.
All right. So I'm in South Carolina, right on the border, north and south by Charlotte. I'm also a Charlotte firefighter. So got that and a studio, and we're opening up a Clean Eats franchise. So a little busy. What I found is I have a semi-private, so we try to keep it to 4 or 5 clients or less, about 80% women, 20% male. These last 2 months have been slow because we went from more of people paying in full to a more EFT model, so we can try to predict our income more month to month rather than get those $30,000, $35,000 months because people pay for their year in full. When it's really you only signed up 12 people, but 3 people paid $5,000. So, you get that spike, but then when you break it down what you would get monthly, it really lowers the monthly income you brought in really low. Yeah. So this actually inspired us. We actually are starting our own charity called the Fort Mill Fitness Initiative, where we're going to donate to the schools, the athletic programs to try to match, go along with what we stand for. So we already have our mission statement. I've already talked to the school district, and it's actually working hand in hand because we're moving next door. So we never had a grand opening. So we're going to have a big grand opening. Puts part of that toward the charity. The school district's going to actually come out and everything like that for the grand opening that we have next month. So we made our motto to be the Fort Mill Fitness Initiative is a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the health and fitness of the local youth by empowering them to live an active lifestyle at a young age. So we'll go, because around us, middle school and high school kids have to pay to play. $100, they can't afford cleats. So this is going to go to help pay for that stuff, or the local rec leagues that the kids can't afford to play, where it's going to pay for that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So
awesome.
That's impressive. Do you have 501c3 status? Do you know?
I'm calling to my accountant tomorrow. We're filling out the paperwork. We're filling out for the LLC. We already got our board of directors of 2 people already in the studio that are big in the community that want to be a part of it. So it kind of just snowballed fast once I started reading your stuff. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
It kind of worked good because we're moving next door, like I said. So we're going to have a big grand opening, and we'll roll that into. And I figure we'll get more media pickup with the grand opening, partnering with the schools for some kind of charity and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so the key there is for you to really press people in your sphere of influence, the folks that and tell them, hey, we're trying to do something significant here for the community. You know that, but I need your help. I really need your help, and get them to commit to you that they're going to reach out to the media, because people on the school board, if they pick up the phone and call the media will listen to what they have to say. Whereas if you call, it's a little more challenging. Yeah. So, lean on your contact.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. I have a few town council people in my studio, so I'm just going to tell them, and then a lot of people in the athletic departments for the schools to start to reach out too.
That's beautiful. Start creating a hit list, put it in an Excel spreadsheet or something of all your, what we call high impact professionals or high impact people, folks that have a lot of leverage in the community. Get as much contact information as you can. Ideally, you put it in a CRM of some sort so you can keep notes on each person and things like that. But in your case, because this could, that's huge, and but there's going to be a decent amount of work involved.
Oh yeah,
aware that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the payoff very big. Payoff, and not necessarily just monetarily, but in terms of good work you can do.
Yeah. So that's what we're with that. So I'm definitely starting to. I already went through the first 2 things you guys released about the SOPs for the Facebook chat, and we kind of did that stuff before for our challenges where that was just for them points to win something. So now it's just going to be the same way, tracking it, but now it's going to a charity. So we've kind of did the Facebook check-in thing before, but not to that extent. They just got points for like our New Year's challenge. So it's just kind of taking a different angle with it.
Got it.
To hopefully get more people to do it. So yeah, I got your email today about the new stuff that got released. So definitely gonna check that stuff out today.
Awesome. Very good. Well, this is exciting stuff. And just, I would just encourage you, like we do with everybody, is just lean on us. If you've got, you need help or you need something, just post it to the Facebook group, reach out to us, let us know. We're happy to help you any way we can, because, this is really cool. I mean, this would be a first for the referral challenge. Fred's done a crap ton, probably more than anybody, in terms of charitable giving and sponsorships and things like that. But you potentially, Matt, could surpass Fred.
Let's not go that far. Let's not go that far.
So that would be neat to see.
Yeah, let me jump in real quick. So
yeah.
This is genius. I mean, genius on many, many levels. And if everybody could knock that off, I mean, dude, that would just be so impactful, because every school system needs money. Everybody, right? But beyond that, there's only one other trainer, business owner I've ever known that started their own charity.
Okay.
And it's global. And it was Forrest Walden of Iron Tribe Fitness, who started a charity called Never Thirst. It's Never Thirst Water. And so he, along with a couple other people, started a Never Thirst well digging ministry to take freshwater wells to Sudan and other places, right? And it literally is now a multi-million-dollar per year charity.
Oh, wow.
I love this idea for you guys. It's going to be huge.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be a lot of work, but, I can definitely see it. My sister is a single mom, and I just see it with her trying to pay for my nephew to play, all these sports. And, a lot of people think, oh, it's $100, but, if we raise $1,000, that's 10 kids that can play a high school or middle school sport then that couldn't before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I mean, really, that's fantastic, Matt. So awesome. Anything in particular or specific that we can help you with right now?
No, just I know I have to do the 501c. While that's all getting set up, how would you suggest I start getting the word out? Do I start?
Go to the principal of the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I already talked to the superintendent of student services, so that's who I contacted. So he's the contact for all the school district, whatever school I want to send to. So that's who I talked to the other day. He's on board. He thought it was a great idea. And he was like, yeah, we can divide it up through the PE programs. You can tell me what schools you want to send it to. So he handles for the whole school district is who I contacted for our local area.
Are you going to are you going to distribute money throughout multiple schools, or are you going to focus on one?
That's something that, I'll use my board of directors, how we want to do it. We definitely want to do it where it's going to be the most impactful. I know, like I said, middle schools and high schools, there's 2 high schools right now and 3 middle schools. So we could divide it evenly among them. Where would you guys suggest, how
start with one?
Okay.
I'd start with one and go from there. Once you get one, you can leverage them to get more. But here's the other thing. You want to be meaningfully specific. It's very, very important. And that is, by that, I mean, when you go to talk to people, you don't want to just say, hey, schools need more money. Yeah. You want to tell a story. And Aaron is a great storyteller and a great teacher. You're going to get access to the storytelling training next week. But you've already told us the beginning of the story that I think you might want to use, and that's your sister.
Yeah.
You mentioned your sister's a single mother with a child, and her finances are stretched thin. That's your story, I think, to start with. Maybe you have a better one, but that's certainly a good one to look at. Come up with a good pitch where you tell the story briefly but emotionally with impact, and then you lead into, hey, and that's why I've started this foundation. That's nonprofit. And here's how I need you to help me. And then don't just be broad. Oh, I need help. Be specific. Here's what I'd like you to help me with. And then you can say, what do you think? Are there other ways that you could help me? So you're soliciting their feedback as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, great. Well, that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, you definitely got to keep us up to speed on how that's going. So, all right, with that said, Matt, I'm going to move to Fred because I think he deserves an opportunity to chime in here and reclaim, or he's not reclaiming. He still holds. He's still the king of the charity and sponsorship, but we'll see how long that lasts. Fred, how are you, brother? It's good to see you. Let us know how things are going.
I'm good. Things are going well. Got another fundraiser set up for August the 19th. This time I'm doing it with a high school baseball team. So I'll that alone grabs steam because this is a team that almost went to state in Louisiana. And it's also a team that's in a more needy area of our city. And so I got with the coach to do training because he's a buddy of mine. I said, hey, I want to really try to figure out how to get the guys to our gym and overcome the financial issue. And then I said, how about we do like a lift-a-thon for the guys? And so we're going to set that up. And, people already have really taken, to sponsoring that team because they were doing so well without much money. And so I think that's going to go over well. But we did a partnership with the Training for Warriors organization as well in the last 2 months for one of the ladies that is a member of TFW somewhere around the country who actually has cancer, is dying, and have 4 children. I don't know if y'all seen that floating around the internet. But the organization as a whole raised $90,000 for her kids' schools. And as far as the check-ins, I use a local charity for mine. The beautiful thing about that is this particular charity, it's called the Good Samaritans, is connected with like 15 or 20 other churches, and a lot of organizations support it. So my reach with that is big, and it resonates with not only our gym, but if I send an email out to my list, it works as well. And so through them, I'm able to turn that into so for instance, we just did a school supply drive, which is awesome. People like doing that. And then right after that, we went right into trading uniforms. So if your kids are younger or older and you have old uniforms, you can bring them to the gym and people can swap out. Because some of those uniforms are just out of control, like how expensive they are. And some of the families, it's tough for the kids if they have, if they don't have nice uniforms, they feel like they don't fit in as well. But other than that, things are going well. I've been using Referizer. I know we visited that back in the past. Actually, finally took the time to actually figure it out for myself instead of listening to those guys. It was a whole lot easier than what it was literally radically easier than what we went through on all those calls. But so in 2 months, I've gotten 28 leads. We probably converted half of those. So we converted 14. We converted 50% of those. And so that's been working well, and that's how we track our points in the gym for our loyalty program. So, getting the deal through the referral challenge was huge.
Awesome.
And we do check-ins. I do 10 cents per check-in. Okay. And I know you were talking about that earlier. Basically, what I would do is decide how much money I want to donate every month and then compare it to how many people check into your gym, and that's kind of how you do it. The cool thing about that, the way I talk about it is it's like, hey, you get to participate and donate into this charity just by checking into the gym. That's all you have to do. So some people can't, donate as much money as they would like to sometimes, so that's a way for them to participate. That's kind of the way that I positioned it. And then when people realize, man, all I have to do is check into the gym and I can actually participate, then it took off steam. So we probably have about 400 to 600 check-ins. We have more people checking in, but actually checking in on Facebook. And so, but you do have to stay on it because it kind of wears off. Yeah. And I'll remind them and it'll wear off. And I got to, it's emotion rules, right? So I have to tell them some story about something that they did in the community, and they'll start to see, I said that for Aaron. Aaron's been coaching me on my writing. So But and it's true. I mean, it's amazing. I'll have 350, 400 check-ins. I'll write one email. The next month I'll have 600 check-ins because it reminds them that, hey, this organization is doing a lot of good things, you know, because they just forget.
Sure. Yeah.
But,
yeah. Hey, Fred, give folks an idea of roughly how much you donated to charity, maybe not just cash, or not that you personally, but how much you helped raise for charity, like in the last 12 months or something.
Oh, so in the last 12 months.
Or last year, whatever time frame works. But
we donated $33,000 in 2016, but this year we are my goal was to do 50,000. We've already beat $50,000. So we did 33,000 with one fundraiser, one lift-a-thon for a little girl in the local community. So we did 33,000 for one. We did 7,500 for another. That put us at 40. I think we raised about 5,000 for Alicia. And then we do like 30 to 50 school supply bags, which is like $120 a pop for those. And then we've been donating probably between anywhere from $150 to $300 a month to the Good Samaritans. And so I'm right at around the 50K mark, which was my goal. But we still have, you know, the baseball team is not necessarily a charity thing. I mean, it kind of is.
Right.
We'll have one more after that, and then we do like a pretty big Christmas and Thanksgiving drive too. And we use the same organization because it works for us where I'm at because everybody is very familiar with it.
So, you know, like I said earlier, I don't know of any other fitness business owner that does as much as you do community work as you do. I also don't know many fitness business owners, and I can't think of anybody really off the top of my head that has a business that's as significant as yours is, as large as yours is. I'm sure there are some out there, but I just, off the top of my head, I can't think of them. Can you just briefly talk about, I know you do a lot of marketing, okay, but just talk about what your community, the work you've done within the community, what kind of impact you would assess or would say that has had on your business?
I'll tell you this. I just had a conversation with a lady yesterday about the stuff that we do. And I basically told her that part of my business vision, right, and part of our business model is to use my gym and my talents for what we have here to minister to our community. That's one of the reasons why I left the box gym and opened up. And so I would say 90% of the people that visit my gym or join my gym do it because of the amount that I give back to the community. And so, I mean, in my mind, that's pretty much all my business.
Yeah.
And then the people that, you know, slip in through the cracks that don't know, once they're here for a little while and they meet me and my wife and they see what we do. Like, for instance, 2 weeks ago, I closed down my gym half a day on Friday and all day on Saturday to let someone have a wedding reception in my gym.
That's awesome.
And look, I'm going to be honest with you. Some people were upset, and I said, look, this is part of my business model. I'm sorry, you know, like, and look, as much as I am charitable, I like to be black and white, you know, and they're like, well, I missed my workout. I'm like, well, you're overweight. You should worry more about your food than your workout. You know, like, I don't think the one workout that you missed on Friday had anything to do with the way you are today. You know, like, just being honest.
Hell yes.
You know, I wrote the email. I told them what I was doing. Somebody needed help. And because we can transform my gym pretty damn good to make it look nice. It was something that I wanted to do, so I did it. And so, you know, you do have the naysayers, but that's okay. And I just told her when she came in, I said, look, I'm sure you're familiar that part of my business model is it's not just all fitness. It's personal, professional, and spiritual development. And so, you know, when somebody calls on me and I don't do everything for everybody, you know, I will consider it greatly. And it's like, that's why I have my gym. And the majority of my people that are here are on board with that. So, for instance, I volunteered at the gym. I sent an email out, said, hey, we're going to be closing. And if anybody is interested in helping, you know, like move all the equipment and get everything all set up, we had about 17 volunteers. And then the night after, which is very hard because, you know, I'm a neat freak too. So I wanted my gym back in order and spotless again. But we literally had about 6 or 8 athletes and then probably 8 or 10 adults that stayed till 1 o'clock in the morning helping me clean up. So it was cool. But I mean, that's probably like not something that anybody else would do. But so that's kind of what I'm known for. So like the churches come and people will say, you know, I'll say get hit up a lot, but I don't really get hit up because I tell people, hey, other than fitness and nutrition, this is what I do with my business. And, you know, it's not going to change because it's what makes me tick. That's just the way it is.
Right. It's a core value. Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. And I always enjoy hearing about it. And I think it's instructive for the new folks to hear because you sort of epitomize what it is we're trying to do in the referral challenge, which is building relationship-driven businesses, you know, where you really have an impact in the community, where you're very well known in the community, where you're perceived essentially as a local celebrity on some level. As you just heard Fred say, he gets hit up all the time. That's because he's incredibly well known and seen as an influencer within his community. And it's a beautiful thing. And the other things that I want to point out is what Fred talked about is that everything that he does comes from core values. It doesn't come from a marketing manual. He follows marketing best practices and he's smart about that. But it comes from his heart. It comes from who he is. And if you're on his email list, which I suggest, if you're not, I suggest you get on it so you can see his consumer-based emails. They're very, very well done. You can tell it's him writing this. It's not some packaged thing that, you know, it's him, and it's emotional, and he tells good stories, and he's very consistent and prolific. And those are other components of being a good relationship marketer because you need to be communicating on a consistent basis. Anything else, Fred, that I've missed that you would say, you know, is a really important aspect of your relationship-driven business?
I'll say this and just kind of piggyback off of what you were just saying. I'm learning as I get older and I'm a few more years into this, how impactful referral marketing from whatever angle you take, whether it's a charitable stance or not, how impactful that is, especially in a world now where we're just marketing, we're getting marketed like you know, it's like I see all these people talking about Facebook ads. I'm like, man, if you just learn how to make relationships, it's a lot easier, a lot more fun, and a lot cheaper. And you don't have to keep up with Facebook, you know. So I do some Facebook ads for my online business because, you know, I can't be everywhere at all time. But locally, I haven't run Facebook ads in so long. And people are like, well, how do you fill up your challenges? It's like just emails and Facebook posts. That's pretty much all we do. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd market, you know, I send out videos and I'm constantly writing posts and stuff like that. But the bigger picture is that I'll say this, and I have never made a pitch at a fundraiser to sign up at my gym, but I've always signed somebody up at my gym. I've never made a pitch. I didn't offer 20% off if you showed up or anything. And I'm not against doing it. But I was so afraid in the beginning to think that I was just getting people there so I could sell them something later. Like I did not want that, you know, that reputation, that stigma, whatever it is. And so I haven't really ever needed to. And so when people ask me about it, they're like, oh, you don't have like a big special or a deal? And I'm like, actually, I never have. But so now as I get older and I'm not working so much on the floor, I am constantly making connections with whoever. And it's amazing that people will call me and say, hey, man, I got this thing going on. I'm looking for help, like a men's club or something like that. And they'll say, hey, do you think you could get 10 of your guide members to come help us move some stuff? And I'm like, oh, man, one email, I'll have 10 guys like that, you know? And it's like, so, and all y'all already noticed, the point of that is when they think about doing fitness, well, how could they go anywhere else? Right. They're going to come to your gym, I mean, because they have a different type of connection with you.
Right.
So, and, you know, my client base stays for a long, I mean, you have people that are coming and going, but as a whole, and that's why when I saw the referral challenge, you know, months ago, I was like, man, this is like totally right up my alley. So good stuff. Very good stuff.
Yeah, and I'll tell you all. I've said it before, but we got a lot of people that contribute on a big way to this group. Fred leads the pack, and the contributions he's made are just substantial. He's and so we're grateful and appreciative to have him in the group. And also, it's not just what he contributes on these calls and things like that, but he leads by example. I mean, he's doing it. I think, as I just said, I think he's the best example I know of a really well executed, relationship-driven business. So thanks again, Fred. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's a work in progress. You know, I'm not perfect or anything like that, but you know, the interesting thing is I learned something, like I learned this stuff from you, and then I put it in action, and I have an experience of it, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to zero in on this because I know it works, and so, you know, it's what makes me tick.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. I mean, it really needs to be who you are. You know, and I'll tell you, me personally, I'm an introvert by nature, and I think a lot of us are. I mean, a lot of people. It's like when I'm around people too much, I feel a little drained, and I need to sort of go recharge my batteries. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop getting out and building relationships and doing what I need to do, because there are moments that are really completely, totally joy-filled when you're with a lot of people. It's just not my natural tendency, but I recognize how important it is. I know how impactful it is, and so I do it. And so we all have to. You got to try and find it, because we all have it in you. If you got a decent heart, then you like people. Maybe you just don't want to be around them all the time, like me. That's all. All right. Thank you, Fred. Let's keep moving. David, I see you down there. Or actually, I see a shadow. I don't know if you're there. David, you there? No. Okay, Ben Atanga. I'm gonna jump to you. How are you, man? It's good to see you. It's been a while. Let us know how you're doing. Yeah.
We're doing okay. We're doing okay. How you doing? How about you?
I'm doing good. Tell the folks what kind of business you run, because it's interesting.
So we run a partner-assisted stretch therapy company. It's similar to massage, except it's all table stretching. And so we've had the company for a little bit over 2 years, and we're located up here in the Washington, D.C. area.
Beautiful. Yeah. So how are things going now? Give us an update on how business is doing, and let us know if you've got any issues or problems or anything we can help you with specific to the referral challenge or anything else in business.
Business for the past year has really grown. I mean, we're in a different place than we were a year ago. And just to give you a little background, a year ago we were in an office suite, maybe something like a 10 by 12 or something like that, with 2 tables. And it was, my business partner and I stretching, and we had just bought on some staff, and you know, we expanded because just due to like demand. So we expanded to a suite of about 1,100 square feet, and today we have 7 stretchers on staff. We're membership based. We've got about 120 clients that are on our membership program. So it's a new modality in which we're trying to figure out, you know, how do we market this thing? How do we put it out there? You know, like, how do we really explain what we are? In a lot of sense, we're very clinical, but also it's a luxury service. It's like a massage.
Sure.
So to speak. The issues that we're having are trying to figure out what exactly our sales process should be. You know, people come to us for different reasons. You know, some folks come because they're injured. Some folks come because they're curious. You know, some folks come because, you know, they've got some sort of pain somewhere. But figure out, you know, what type of sales process to put together.
Well, you've got 120 clients now, so you're clearly doing something right in terms of the marketing and sales. What is your sales process right now?
The sales process that we used to get to the 120 clients was when a prospect comes in, they'll get stretched by one of our stretchers, and after that, the stretcher will present to them our programs. Until we kind of played around with pricing a little bit. We actually increased our prices a little bit this year, and we're having a little bit of a hard time trying to sell it, but just kind of based off like our margins and our numbers, we need to kind of keep our pricing to this new model that we've incorporated. So the sales product that we're trying to go towards is more of like a consultative type sale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the difficulty that we're having is that you can have one person do the consultations, but then most of our leads come from Groupon. So they buy a half hour or 55-minute Groupon, and if we're doing a consultative type selling process, that means that we're also going to have to stretch them, which we see about 100 new prospects a month, and that's almost impossible for one person to do.
What's your conversion rate from Groupon to member?
It's about 25%.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think this is an in-depth discussion. There's no doubt about it, and there's a lot of places we can go with this. But one of the things you need to look at is a better lead source for sure. I mean, Groupon, you're making it work, and that's good. So I'd keep doing it. But you need to be looking at additional lead sources, and certainly the referrals is a big one right there. A big plus, because you have a decent sized membership base, 120 people, you can have some impact by marketing to those folks. But the other thing I want you to seriously look at, Ben, is what we've already rolled out to you guys, but we're going to go more in depth with on Monday, is the Smart Start Fitness funnel, which is the Facebook group marketing. You're going to have to adapt it a little bit for you, because it's about fitness. It's fitness related, but you're just in terms of the name. That's all you're going to have to adapt, is the name itself, because the fulfillment can be almost exactly the same. But that's something that you should look hard at, and of course pushing the referral marketing as well. Yeah.
One thing that we just started is we hired Ben Davis to do some Facebook marketing for us and get us higher quality leads.
Yeah.
We realized that the folks on Groupon are really just shopping. They're shopping for the next best deal or whatever. So, but we kind of had to hold on to it because we're crushing it on Groupon right now.
Yeah.
And so,
like I said, if it's working and the numbers work, don't stop it. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right. And so I'm on a call. Normally Tom's on a call, but I'm on a call just to try to, I know this stuff works. It's just about kind of catering it to what we do.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand what you're saying. The consultative sale. So, there's no better way to sell than in a consultative sale. It's the most effective way to sell, belly to belly, one-on-one in a consultation. There's no better way. So if you can find a way to make that work and maybe just condense your consultative sale, it doesn't need to be an hour long. It can, maybe you can get it done in 15, 20 minutes, but at least you're sitting down in a room and going through a formalized sale process. That's going to be the most effective way. But the bottom line is you've got to have the right leads for that, the right quality leads. So like I said, it's a deeper discussion. Aaron, did you want to add something?
Benjamin, you and I have had this conversation in the past, so I just got to get caught up with it, right? Your lead quality source has to improve. And the fastest, quickest way for you to do that right now is the referral challenge, right? And so here's what you should do this day, right? Based on what you do for, athletes, you need to be talking to athletes, right? If you'll recall, we talked about hunting down tennis pros. Go to a tennis pro, create that relationship, demonstrate on the tennis pro, have that tennis pro refer clients to you, then go to the next sport.
Golf. Yeah.
Golf.
Yeah.
Work that relationship. Get those pros Get all the tennis pros, get all the golf pros you can, right? And then any other team, like the backdoor, I'm trying to say the recreational soccer teams, right? Anything where people are out there challenging their bodies can use your service. And if you're not tapping into that, you're losing a fortune. Right? That is your low-hanging, fastest, let me solve my true best lead source problem right there, right?
That was beautiful. And I hope that you took that to heart, Ben. Do you have a question about that, about what Aaron just said?
No, it's something that Aaron and I talked about, and it's something that it's definitely something that we can implement. And I do agree with you that the consultative sale is the best sale out there. And so one of the things that we have done in the past few weeks is just start offering a free consultation, because when they come in, they know they're not going to get stretched. So I don't have to waste my time stretching someone who is probably not going to buy. It's more so kind of figuring out what the issue is, what the problem is, and then providing a solution.
Right. And you hit the nail on the head here. I've never used your services, but I remember Camellia watched Tom on TV, and when he did the demonstration and everything, and she said it was awesome, and that clearly the work that Tom did on that person was like it reminded Camellia of Z Health. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Z Health, but some of the things they do, it's almost like magic. And so what you have to do is it's all about problem building. That's the solution to your sales process is you have to make people understand that you're not a massage therapy, that you're not just there to make them feel good. You're there to solve a real, serious problem. And I don't know what that is. You're the expert. You'd know because you deal with it every day. But that's what you need to do. It's about building the problem. That's what's going to make the difference in your concept.
And it's easy, Benjamin, for our discussion. Your tennis players, your golfers who are always fighting some form of pain. Let's use a golfer. It's got low back pain, right? How are you going to solve this guy's problem? Right, and to Eric's beautiful point, man, I hope everybody writes this down. Please, just when you make a claim, when you make any claim, you instantly create an objection. It's human nature. But if you build a problem that they have, they're going to buy from you without ever creating an objection. Problem building is the fastest way to a fortune.
Yeah. And so we're going to move on, Ben, but two things to take away from this is seriously work on that consultative sale process, the problem building side of it. And number two is do exactly what Aaron said in terms of reaching out, particularly in your area. I mean, in the DC area, the demographics are so good. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for I would imagine, an older demographic, I'd say probably maybe 40 plus, that has disposable income. That is, somebody that they're not going to sneeze at whatever you're charging, $200 a month for a membership. It's going to be like, nothing to them. Because they recognize how big the problem is, and they recognize that you're the only way to solve that problem. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for being on the call. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can I add one thing to the conversation?
Yeah, please do, Adrian.
I saw in the chat that people were leaving, so Ben, I didn't know if you had anywhere to go. But one thing that may help you that's worked for me pretty well is if you can find a way to give somebody a lot of value and transfer that to a consultative sale. Like for me, for example, it's group personal training, so I'll offer a 3-week trial, and then during that trial, sit down with them and then talk about membership. It kind of makes sense, chronologically in their experience with us. If you can find a way to do that, we have a lot of success with that. Typically, my closing percentage is 85% on average with that method. It's one-on-one, which is nice because then you get to know the person. And then the second thing that I wanted to add too was, I don't know if you guys can see it, but making these referral cards would be super helpful. So, for example, this is mine. The name on there, her name is Karen. Hang on. Yeah, so her name's Karen. So that's the client. So the client gets these cards. And on the back, it has a free week trial. And the person simply texts that number to activate it. Or what's happened is they simply bring the person in without texting us, which is fine, I guess. And then they just come in and start. So that's been successful for us too. So if you already have people who know you, like you, and trust you, like empower them with these cards. And just so you can see the impact of it, here's one box of 20 clients. Here's another box of 20. So I just give these to every new person who joins. So that's what's helped a lot too, because then two things happen with the referral cards, and this is in the TRC. It's one of the, I forgot which one it is, but it's one of the modules.
The greatest gift ever campaign.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. Two things happen. One, the person who's referring, the person who gets these flipping cards, feels awesome, so they stay longer. And then the second thing that happens too is that you get really good referral sources, because like the leads, because earlier we were talking about Groupon and lead generation, the leads that you get from referrals are typically a lot like easier to sell than leads who are cold. So it's a better conversation, it's a better experience. So those are the two things I would add for you, man. Those have helped me. Try them out. That's all I encourage. Does that make sense, Ben?
How would you, I appreciate it. How would you go about offering a trial service for something like what we do? I mean, meaning like it's one-on-one. So if you kind of look at me as almost like a one-on-one trainer, right?
So just briefly describe to me, like, what is it like? Okay, so take me through it. So if I were to experience your service, what do you do to me?
So imagine like you're going to see a massage therapist, and instead of massaging you, you're getting stretched.
Okay.
So it's partner assisted table stretching. It's somewhat intimate. I mean, you're fully clothed, but there's a protocol that we go through to stretch you out.
Okay, I'm thinking out loud at this point because I'm group and you're one-on-one. I get that. Like, I wouldn't offer it. I wouldn't want to waste anybody's time and offer it for free, but maybe like a slightly discounted, here's what we offer, come experience it type thing, almost like a low barrier offer. And then right after you stretch them out, do people generally feel good after you stretch them out, like, or are they tired?
Yeah, no, people feel good.
They feel good. They feel energized, right? Okay, so maybe right after you have that first session with them, sit them down and say, hey, look, this is how we can help you long term. And then what they talked about building a problem, come up with some sort of little presentation that talks about the most common areas of weakness and the most common things that people miss out on when they don't do your stretching and what happens long term to them. So maybe then you can sit down with them right off the bat, right after they've experienced what you have to offer and they feel good and energized, and then sell them on a longer term package or however you have it done. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that's essentially that's what we've implemented.
Yeah.
The only issue is who exactly does that consultation, whether it's the stretchers or it's one person.
It needs to be one person. It needs to be whoever's best in sales right now. Until you dial that in, it needs to be just one person who's doing them all, because you need at-bats. You need reps to dial in a sales process. You need as many reps as you can, unless you just suck. But I would imagine and I don't mean you personally, I mean whoever is in charge of it. But most people are intelligent enough to learn and adapt and improve. But I would get one person and have that person perfect it as closely as possible. So you're in Adrian's league where you're closing 99.5. And then you start teaching other people how to do it. But let me add one other thing, Ben, before we move on. I think, I could be wrong about this, but this is my gut, is that you need a diagnostic. You need to have because that's how you're going to build the problem. You need to be able to take people who come into you through some sort of diagnostic, almost like an FMS, like a fitness movement screen or whatever it stands for. You need to have a diagnostic process, because that way you can point to that and say, okay, you have this problem, you have this problem, you have this problem, and you have this problem. and then you stretch them, you alleviate that pain, and you say, are those problems gone right now? And they go, yes, they are. And they said, you're going to need to have this done this many times. You're giving a diagnosis. You're not saying, here's what I suggest. You're saying, here's what you need, just like a doctor. So here's my suggestion to you, or not my suggestion. Here's what you need. Here's the diagnosis. To solve your problem, you're going to need such, and such. That's it.
It almost sounds like a chiropractor too.
Yeah, let me jump in here. Benjamin, if you'll recall, these are the conversations we had, right? You had this exact conversation. So when Eric Ruth backs up Aaron Crocker, you might ought to start paying attention about this kind of a thing, all right? You need this functional movement screen diagnostic idea, right? Get that graph paper we talked about. Put it behind people. Take pictures. Show how their posture is skewed. Right shoulders drop. Rotate it to the left. You know, this kind of stuff, all right? Forward head posture, all right? Stretch them out. Take another picture. Show them the aha, right? Moreover, take your show on the road. Go straight to that tennis pro. Create a seminar. Bring tennis players around, choose one of them, do your magic show, sign people up.
Yeah. That's how Z Health does it, and it works. It's good. That's the process. All right, Ben, we got to move on, brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Ed, let's jump up to you. I appreciate everybody so long. We're going to have to look at, when we have this many people on, how we can expedite things and still get to everybody, make sure everybody gets the help they need. But anyway, so Ed, tell us a little bit about your business, and then any problems that you have, how you're doing with the referral challenge, stuff like that. Any questions you might have that we can help you with.
Hey, is it me, Ed, or is it the other Ed?
No, you, Ed. Sorry, a royal-blooded Ed.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Yeah, this looked like there was another guy down there called Ed as well.
Yeah, you're right. I missed that. Sorry.
No, that's cool. Where am I? So I've just kind of pre-launch really. What I've been doing, I have been in the industry for about 7 years or so. I got ill for about 3 years or so. So I've kind of been rebuilding myself. I've been working with a small group of guys for like the last year, 18 months. So get my coaching back on point, everything like that. So that's all good to go now. So what I'm looking to do is basically get a couple of really good results for marketing up until January, for like a grand opening January time, that kind of thing basically. Obviously the referral challenge really ticked a lot of the boxes for me, with making sure that once the leads, once the clients have started, the bucket is kept full. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've had really high retention with the small group which I've been working with, which I want to continue, obviously, like as we grow. So that's the plan.
Excellent. How many members do you have now in your small group?
It's literally only 4.
Okay, so yeah, you're just getting back rolling. Yeah, all right, good. You mentioned you got sick, and I'm not trying to pry into your personal business, so don't share if you don't want to. But I'm curious only because there's a potential story element there if you're willing to share it. And that can be powerful. Is that something that what happened, if you're willing to share?
Yeah, it's exactly what I leveraged in order to get this little group going, which is basically I have bipolar disorder. So basically I ended up with depression, psychosis, the business I had broke down, pretty much, kind of lost everything really.
Yeah.
And rebuilt from the ground up basically. So I had 0 social skills, I couldn't go outside. Didn't train for about 6 months. It was really pretty fucked up time, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took a little bit of time to obviously get back rolling again, and pretty fucking solid now. So
good. And there's a lot of good help out there. My younger brother has the same problem, and so I understand. And it's a process, but I think that it's smart of you to use that story to restart your business. And I would encourage you, and I think Aaron will too, to really go hard with that, because not only can you attract people that are like you and that have the same problems, you can obviously help them in a significant way. And that's the big thing, is that, it's the amount of, and the more you're willing to put yourself out there in terms of telling this story, the better you will be at attracting folks.
Definitely. Yeah, the one thing is, like, I mean, it is something I want to do in the future, like, which is work with people, you know, with bipolar or with similar issues. But what I was thinking with like from a strategic point of view, what I wanted to do is get like a banging business together, which was almost like proof of concept. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? So rather than going, what I want to be able to do is show people in that situation, you can go from completely fucked to kicking ass again. That makes sense. I don't want
Absolutely.
I don't want to be like the, you know, I can get from here to, you know, almost got together again. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That makes sense. I want to show from here to, yeah, you can fucking have a great life, you know, on every single level. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense, and that's exactly what you need to do. And I think you lead with your own case study until you can get somebody else to rise up with you. And you've got some people now that you're working with. You start talking about yourself because, and this is, you know, I don't buy into the fake it till you make it kind of theory, but I do buy into the theory that we all pull ourselves up with our bootstraps. We all do it. And if you don't get up to where you want to be. So what you're doing now is you're in the process of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. And I think you need to put yourself out there and make it so well known, because that's going to help hold you accountable. When you've got that message out there that this is what I'm doing and this is how I can help you, just like I've helped myself, that pushes you to go even harder and rise even further, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Plus, you know, Ed, people love authenticity. They love true stories, and you've got a good one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt. So I'm going to think about, and Aaron and I will brainstorm a little bit, some ways, because you are in the unique position of sort of starting from ground zero at this point. So there's not a lot for you to leverage in terms of relationship. And so I think off the top of my head, the number one thing that comes to mind is for you to be utilizing Facebook, not necessarily advertising, but just the content distribution of Facebook, and putting some videos out there and writing, you know, whatever. If you write a newsletter, or I would start just writing letters to people like you. You know, that's when when Aaron and I sit down to write copy, we envision one person that we're speaking to, and that it's a person with the problem that we want to help solve. And that's what you should be doing too. You should think of maybe even writing to yourself. It could be like that, because you know intimately what the problem is. But think of writing to one person, and I just start posting that stuff on Facebook. It takes guts, and it's scary as hell. And everybody's scared when they first get started. And maybe you're not, but I was, and I still am to this day. When I, you know, public speaking or anything like that, it still scares me, but you do it anyway. And that's I think one of the most important things you can start doing, because people with the interesting thing about this, when you have a specific issue like that, like bipolar, the word will move around a lot quicker. You know, it will start spreading when you put stuff out there, because the people who like it and share it, or, you know, comment on it, they're going to start telling their friends, hey, you need to start listening to Ed. This guy's on to something.
For sure, definitely. Like I was thinking, or my plan had been, what I was thinking of was kind of setting up a primarily kind of fitness-based business first, if that makes sense. No, that makes sense. So not necessarily, because this is the thing. Like I had some feedback off when I was launching this thing, which I've been running for the last year or so, which is obviously a very small group. But I had some feedback from some people saying, you know, that they were somewhat put off by I was sharing a lot of the story, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So like, and I'm not too sure if the people who came through were like over relating to the story, and was kind of putting off mainstream people a little bit, if that makes sense. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I hear you, and there you run that risk. There's no doubt. You could push away mainstream people, and that is a potential problem. But I think
it's how you spin. If I may jump in, listen. Who is Rocky Balboa?
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa is nobody, and he's in and he works himself up, and everybody loves the hero story.
Yeah, for sure.
In that way, right? Create this crescendo where people are pulling for you.
Yeah.
Right? So, look, everybody's got issues, man. Everybody, except Eric and I. We have no issues. But, if you can eloquently create drama, and what's drama? Drama's conflict. Minus conflict, there's no drama. And no drama, no conflict, no story.
Yeah.
This is the problem. It's a sidebar. This is the problem with most testimonies. There's no drama, right? There's no build up from origin story to challenge and promise or problem and solution. Do that and show how you've gone from a life of bipolar depression, and like you said, I've got an awesome life. Here's how I got there.
Yeah. So it's not so much that you're focusing on the bipolar issue. It's that you're just admitting to it. Right. This is something that I deal with. And here's how I fought through it. And look at all these things, how fitness has been, and this is probably the way you position it, fitness has been my lifeline, and then you transition from, and it's the lifeline for just about everybody. It's not just about being bipolar. It's about having any type of problem, just being stressed out and frustrated and, not wanting to be around your kids for a while or something because they're so causing you so much stress. This is the answer. So, you work through that thing, but here's the other thing I want you to know is that when you put yourself out there, Ed, when you start writing and sharing stories and stuff, there are always going to be detractors. There are always going to be people who say, hey man, I don't want to do business with you because you're bipolar. And they won't maybe come out and say it exactly that way, but screw them, screw them. Because for every one of those people, there are other people who are going to be like, I want to do business with you because you're bipolar, because you've overcome this issue, because you're clearly a fighter and a leader. It's that kind of thing.
And moreover, and here's the untapped part of it, that's newsworthy, man. Get those press releases out there.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
What I was thinking was to get some some real good marketing stories for proof of results within the program. So what I was thinking, basically run a couple of challenges, 6-week kind of challenges, just to get a before and afters, high numbers of before and afters before the grand opening. If that makes sense. So when people hit the grand opening, they'll come there and it's 12, 24 odd people who are this is XYZ has happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was kind of wanting to keep that story almost behind until the whole grand opening scenario. So what I was thinking is kind of almost stealth launch it. Do you know what I mean? So just pure direct response. We want 12 guys in to do X, Y, Z, get their before and after stories, videos and stuff like that. Does that make sense? So it's all prepped and ready to go. So that once January comes around, have a grand opening and a more public kind of opening then. Would that sound like a good strategy?
It does. It sounds like the typical strategy. That's a great strategy. I mean, that's what works. And what you're doing there is you're suppressing the personal story until you feel like maybe it's best, until you feel like you're ready to share it. Is that right? Am I understanding you correctly? That you're just going to keep that story in the background for now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and that's fine. Because what you just described, the strategy you just described, is absolutely a strategy that works. There's no doubt about it. It's the only thing that you're not leveraging is the story, your story. And I'll tell you that there are a few things as powerful as a story well told. So I don't want to push you into trying to do something that you're not necessarily comfortable with, because the strategy you just outlined is a sound one and you can absolutely pursue it. And then when you're more comfortable and you feel like it's the right thing to do, you can start incorporating the story component, your story component, a little bit more. There's a lot of ways to skin this cat, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, cool. Excellent.
Yeah. All right, good. Listen, Ed, we're glad to have you in the group, brother, and definitely want to keep us in the loop on how things are going as we move forward. And we'll keep working with you and be interesting to see how this grows.
Yeah, definitely. Can I have one quick question?
Oh yeah, sure.
It's regarding like say for example, I was just thinking of a strategy here. I don't know if it's probably already done, but say for example, set like advertising a 6-week sort of like a mini course or whatever. Does that make sense? Either free or low cost, like a front end offer, and then selling people directly into a long-term program. So it's almost like it sounds a bit sketchy, but just giving them an offer for like a really good longer-term project or longer-term. Is that something which?
Yeah, but you're talking about immediately, so an immediate upsell.
Immediate upsell. So they come in for a consultation for like a free 6-week, which would be delivered either way. And then when they sit down and say, listen, I know you've come in for this, like a lot of people would be interested in this. Would you be interested in this fucking awesome program here, which might be like a year long instead? Would that be, I don't know if people are already doing that.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic strategy, but don't go with, if you're going to offer something free, definitely don't make it 6 weeks. It's too long. And I would suggest that you don't offer anything free really beyond maybe a session or two or a week or something like that. I think you're better off with a low cost front end offer, even if it's, just so it's something, even if it's 19 pounds or just so it's something that you're charging them. And yeah, absolutely. When they come in, that's the strategy you just talked about. It's actually more of a tactic. The tactic you just talked about is dead on, exactly the way you should do it. Anytime you get, anytime a new buyer comes in and you sit down with them, you should say, it should be, hey, it's excited to have you here. Here's what you're getting, blah, blah, blah. But I also want to make you aware of this. And that's when you explain your full program and you make it exciting and enticing for them to take advantage of it. And one of the things you should look at very seriously is Rick Streb's Fast Action Offer. It is a document that you can download inside the Facebook group, our Facebook group, in the files section. Or just, I'll tell you what's even better, download the campaign, the Big Day campaign that was just uploaded today. Download that, and the Fast Action Offers in that. And that way you'll get everything all at once. And look at it. It's just a simple little document, but it does exactly what you just said. And Rick uses it, and many of our members use it very, very successfully to move buyers into members.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers. Excellent.
All right, great. Okay, Wayne has asked that we skip him. So we got Anthony, we got Matt. We need to get to Adrian. So who is Ed number 2? Ed number 2 down here, I'm not sure who that is, but we already talked to Ed number 1, Mr. Royal Blooded. So Ed number 2, if you can hear me and you want to talk, come on. All right. Okay, we're going to jump to Adrian then, because you've been so patient too. Adrian, if you got a second, if you're not in a meeting.
No, I'm here. I just started eating because I got hungry.
Smart man. I'm hungry just hearing you talk on that. Let us know how things are going and anything that we can help you with. You know the drill.
Hang on.
Well, tell us what you're eating, because now.
Yeah, did your mother ever tell you that if you're not going to bring enough for everybody, don't bring any?
Well, I can't, electronically send food in the air, and so sorry. My bad. No, I just had some smoked salmon. I'm my dad grew me up on salmon, so I like smoked salmon more than I like actually cooked salmon. Don't ask me why.
What do you eat it with?
Huh?
What do you eat it with?
Just a fork.
Okay, so you,
what do you want from me, Eric? I like food.
I know you with your hands, man, and then use your forearm as a napkin.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right, very good. Enough on that. So tell us how things are going and any questions you got.
Good. So just still hiring admin. I have 2 candidates down for the administrative position. So I had one shadow me yesterday. the other one's shadowing me next week so they can see what it's all about so they don't get any confused ideas. So that's going well. I'm reading currently this book, which has been helping me. So there you go. And then according to Aaron's recommendation, I've also been reading this book.
Nice.
There we go.
Good for you.
And based on both of your recommendations, I've been reading that book.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's, I don't know. I like reading. Anyways.
Feed your brain, man. Feed it every day. Yeah.
So otherwise, just trying to nail down the sales process. I've never like flexible about prices, but actually I've been like kind of slowly raising my rates a little bit here and there.
What are you up to now? What's your average rate?
The average right now is, well, like average across all of my members right now is at 111, but that's only because we still have some people on the old rate we had. So, but the average is 127. Like that's the average program. So right now it's 6 months for 177. This is what I raised it to just the other day because I wanted to, because Aaron told me why not, whatever. So 177 for 6 months, 12 months for 147, and then 18 months for 117. That's where it's at. So, yep. Still nailing down the sales process, just trying to figure out, the right ratio of listening to talking, trying to figure that out. And then also kind of acting more as a gatekeeper at this point until we expand, because when I hear that people aren't that committed, I start asking different questions like, well, if you want to be a member here, like, why would you want to join? Like those kind of questions. So it's fun. It's fun being a gatekeeper rather than a beggar, which I like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me just mention something to you. The most powerful strategy in selling, there's nothing more powerful, is takeaway selling. The moment people sense that you don't want that or don't need that sale, that's when they want to grab it from you. And so that's great. And that shows an evolution in your psychology, in the way that you think, and an evolution in your confidence. So
yeah. Aaron's helped me a lot with that. And
I'll bet
getting through the power of habit will help me too. Because a lot of my issue is taking things personal and I hate rejection. So like when people say no to the program, that's saying no to me. And so that's why I still get anxious about sales, but in a different way now. And then also, I'm starting to reinforce in my team that they're also in sales, because we do a lot of trial programs. So everyone's first experience isn't with me. Sometimes I'm the last person that people meet. And we have an ongoing joke that I'm the IT guy, not the owner. That's going on. So, so I'm teaching them now the importance of how it helps me. And Aaron helped me with that too, because really, like, my meeting is kind of just a formality. It's like I'm sitting down with them, I'm getting them signed up, but the real selling starts when they walk in through the door and they start their introductory program for, 2, 3, or 4 weeks. So that's like, I'm trying to hit that really hard with the team and they've been doing a great job. They're phenomenal. So I'm trying to help me close the 20 or 15% gap of what I don't normally close through other discussions. And added on to that, I've recently started the member mentorship program, like formally started it. So Aaron helped me write out a really nice document for it. And then I share that with members who I want. I'm making them a t-shirt so they're like official. And then we're having an orientation to train them on it later this month or in August. So I have 16 member mentors, and they're all actually going to have what I added onto it was they're going to have a Facebook group for themselves, and they're going to get each other's numbers. So if a first-time member comes in on one session, like say 6 p.m., and the next session they go to 5 a.m., the mentors can connect that person to each other. So that's something that I'm trying to engage them with, and that seems to be going over really well. Like people really want to be a part of that. And then the next step in that evolution, and what you talked about way earlier in this call, was that I'll turn some of those mentors into my little Knights of the Round Table, so to speak, the very important members group. So this is just the genesis of all of that to come. And then other than that, I'm just still getting admin, still doing all the selling and whatnot. Teaching my team more about how sales relates to the experience and how it relates to retention. I'm going to teach my admin how to do sales formally, because she'll be the next in line if I can't take a meeting or something like that. So that'll be good for me to train somebody else how to do it.
Do you think that she has acumen for that, or that she expressed interest in doing that?
Because I made my ad for it when I brought it up to people, specifically stating that part of the job is to meet with people and convert them to memberships.
Excellent.
So I knew that. I wish, man, I was telling my fiance Catherine this, I wish I was where I am now when I started, because there's a lot of things that I regret wasting my time on. Part of that, which is part of the discussion, is just the franchise, but that'll come in time. So one
process, Adrian, you know that, and you're working through the process. This is what's called growth.
Yeah. All of us can say that, right?
Yeah.
Always say that, right?
Yeah.
You learn by making mistakes. You don't learn by hitting home runs. I mean, that's nice, and we want to hit home runs, but you learn by striking out.
Yeah. So two things I want to talk about. One is something that we love doing. It's a great idea, and I just want to share it with people on this call. The second is one thing that my fiance and I were talking about, because it's part of my mindset. And Eric, we talked about it last week because you had me read Profit First, and I'll get to it in a second. The first one is a really awesome idea to raise money for charity. So we support a local children's hospital here. And one thing we like to do is called the Trainer event, where the clients get to pretty much gang up on the coaches and give them whatever exercise they want them to do. And it's wickedly popular. And we raised, this is our only second time doing it. And of course, it's nothing compared to the mighty Fred Zoller, but who knows. So we raised $602, which was great because we only did 3 hours of workout. So it's we got paid $200 an hour. So that's nice.
Outstanding.
And then one really cool thing is that one member in particular, his name is John. He's ridiculously generous. He wants other members to raise, to match that donation for a total of $1,204. And we've matched that this week alone. So that was really great. So we raised a total of $1,200, and that feels really good.
That's huge. And you definitely need to celebrate that. Make sure you've taken pictures and documenting it and getting all the stuff out on it. Yeah.
Yep. And then so I'm scheduling a time to deliver the check to the program members again out in the hospital. So that'll be fun. Conveniently, I didn't know this the first time, but conveniently enough, I can walk down the street to them from where I live right now, which is kind of nice. So that was the first thing that I wanted to bring up, was the Trainer event. In case anybody wanted to mimic that, it's fun. The clients love it too. They love it. And then the second thing was, and maybe Eric, Aaron, anybody here, maybe you can help me out with this, but so I'm still reading Profit First. I'm really engaged in that. And then, but through that, I've learned that there seem to be two camps in this, in business. I don't know if it's fitness related, but in business, there seems to be the one camp where take care of your people, and then they'll take care of the business, and then that takes care of you. And then the other camp where it's take care of yourself first so you can take care of the business, and then the team is just kind of part of it. And that's those are the two camps that I kind of see contradicting each other, because I'm open to either way, but it sounds and Eric, what you stressed to me last week was really Adrian, you got to take care of you first, and then then you can take care of the business. And intellectually I get that, but this is the problem. In my head I get it, but in my heart I want to say hang on, what if I want to sacrifice a little to pay my teammates really well so they can have a good life and still serve the business? And I view that as an investment that pays dividends long term, because the teammates are happy, then the clients are happy, and the clients are the business, and then the business and the clients and the team are good, and then that pays me long term.
Yeah. So let me address that real quick, and then Aaron. Here's what, back in the day when Aaron's former partner Forrest Walden and I used to spend a lot of time together, one of the things that I discovered about Forrest that always impressed me, and I always told him this, and I strive for it myself, but Forrest epitomizes it, is congruency. He is who he is, and he lives by his personal values completely. And I would never, ever advise anyone not to do that. I would never advise anyone to be incongruent. So my advice to you remains the same. Pay yourself first, but how much you pay yourself is completely up to you. Only you can determine what your value is, what you're comfortable with, where you feel it's appropriate. But I am telling you that the principle of paying yourself first, it's as old as time, and you'd be hard pressed to find any really successful person who didn't abide by that. If you read The Millionaire Next Door,
I have that.
Yeah, every one of these people learned that lesson at a very young age, is that they took care to save and make sure that they got paid and save. And that's what I mean. Saving is paying yourself first. That's making sure that you're saving. So the point is, pay yourself first, but I am absolutely not saying don't take care of your people well if that's a priority for you. And it should be. I believe in that too. I think you should always, what's important is that you, number one, don't get taken advantage. Don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of. People need to prove themselves, and I know you have a big heart, but allow people to prove themselves. And I would build in incentives, and so they hit those benchmarks, and then the money can go up. But at the most important thing, pay yourself first and be congruent with your values. So you do what you feel is the right thing to do.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I'll jump in on to piggyback there. Listen, there is a place and a time to be a martyr. This isn't it.
Yeah.
This is no time to put your head on the chopping block, because when you go down, the whole ship goes down, guy. The whole thing. Right? Yeah. Secondly, you should get that book right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just go ahead and get it. Read it. All right.
Stop filling my library, Aaron.
No, I'll never stop, dude, because you're never going to stop.
Library. He's filling your brain.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that's good. So, and this is the other thing with you. It's all an evolution. You're so young. You're learning all this stuff as you go, and you'll evolve because you come from a good place. That's the most important thing. You have a good heart. And so, you're going to make some mistakes here and there. That's fine. But ultimately, you're going to do the right thing. You're going to figure it out, because you're not the kind of guy who's like my former partner back in the old days, who is just a snake in the grass. You're not that dude. So everything will work out. But just remember this. Pay yourself first. Pay yourself first.
I can
save. That's what I'm saying. Save your money.
Yeah. And then I do have one last question. And I figured this out because yesterday my fiance Catherine and I were just out driving around figuring out like what area of town we'd want to live in when we get a house, because that's one of the things I've always wanted as a personal goal. And she's been pushing it because she wants a nice house and to get out of this little apartment that I've been in for the past few years. But anyways, so I want to get a bigger space, and my conflict here is that I don't want to move too far away so that a lot of my members can still be with me. And, there's that other fit body that's like right down the road. So if I move far away, naturally I send people to that one because it's more convenient, and I understand the power of convenience. However, with that being said, like on the other side of town, so we're talking about like 15 minutes in the other direction, there's a lot of, more upscale, nicer neighborhoods. And so my conflict is like, do I do I move to then like start marketing to the nicer neighborhoods and screw half my members, or do I stay and like stay close and forego the nice neighborhoods and keep everybody happy? Like that's my conflict.
Yeah.
How far away is it, Adrian? How far are we talking?
It's about 15 minutes, but it's like completely like there's like different like corners. So if like I'm here, what I'm talking about is like over here, like not really too close.
Here's my answer. Eric may have a different. Here's my answer. dig your well deep, right? Get this one done, and then open number 2 15 minutes down the road.
Okay. But if we keep expanding at the rate we're expanding, I know I can't stay in the space I'm in. Just
this is supply and demand. Listen to me.
okay.
You maximize the membership. You can only accept X amount of people. This is the breakthrough thing I did with Iron Drive. When we opened the door, I'm the only guy in the country who had ever done this. We will limit the amount of people we have come through these doors, and we will have a countdown timer until we reach it. Right? And we went from no clients to 200 in 6 months, paying $250 a month.
Yeah. And they presented on that at NPE's mega training back when I owned the company. It was breakthrough stuff that Aaron did. And it was huge. And when you can leverage that kind of marketing, it's incredibly powerful. And really, if you're smart, anybody can do it. You just have to understand it. You got the source right here with Aaron.
Yeah.
But so were you talking about you're moving your residence and your business, or just your residence? I was a little confused.
Sorry, just moving the business, just location. And
yeah,
to add to what Aaron was saying, and this is why I'm pissed about the franchise thing, because yeah, I could add a countdown timer, and like as soon as I heard about that concept, I've wanted to implement it because it adds that urgency to get in, and then it really turns you into a gatekeeper, and then it really turns you into a takeaway kind of guy, because it's like, hey, look, like for real, like space limited, sorry, like, you know,
right.
And I want to have that type of, I guess, power or influence is maybe the right word, but the problem with it is that there's another fit body like 5 minutes down the road from me, not even like 2.8 miles away. So a prospect hears about me, oh, no space, that one.
Right.
You know, where that's why I'm frustrated, you know?
Yeah, and that's the big problem with the way they, you know, your franchises allowed people to be so close together, because you have no way to, perception is reality, and no matter how good your marketing is, we're going to perceive you as a commodity, because as you said, there's another fit body right down the road. Yeah.
So that's why I don't know how to implement that type of, you know, scarcity, urgency tactic, which would be very useful at this point. Very, very, very useful.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's a discussion that we could carry on, because maybe there is a way, and if there is, you're looking at the two guys who can figure it out. So we can discuss that a little bit, but a little bit later. But how close to capacity are you right now?
Like, there's only 2 sessions that are pretty like free of space, really. Three sessions. There's 8 a.m., 9, 10 a.m., and then our 7:20 p.m. And those are the only 3 that have, you know.
And how many people could you take into those 3 groups?
Any given session, I can take anywhere from like 24 to 30 people a session. So in those 3, I could take probably 15 more in each one.
So a total of 45 more people. And how many members do you have right now?
We're at, well, not including trials, we're at 306 full-time members.
So about 350 is full, 100% full capacity.
If they fill those 3 session times, yes.
So, and you're at 306 now. So you're at 87% capacity.
Yeah.
And so here's what, well, again, we run into the issue. I was just going to say, Aaron advised you absolutely the perfect thing to do, which is raise your rates. That's number one, because certainly for new people, raising your rates, because you're in the ideal situation if it weren't for that damn tag. I mean, because at that capacity, you are sitting on literally a money machine. You know, as long as the rest of your numbers work, that business could it would take years, but it can make you rich. I mean, literally rich. You could become a millionaire off of that business done right over the next 10 to 15 years, maybe sooner, maybe just off that one business, because you're at such high capacity, which means you're able to maximize profit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot to look at there, Adrian.
Well, I know I have how long have I been? It's either 2 or 2.5 years until my fit body agreement ends. My plan, to be honest, is to ride it out and then end it when it's over. So if I can maintain capacity for 2.5 years, I mean.
What do your margins look like right now, roughly?
As far as like, let's see. It's low only because of payroll pretty much. And then adding expenses, which I'm not that great at managing. So it's like 20%.
Yeah. So you need fatter margins. At that capacity, you should be up around 30% margins. And I understand payroll. And see, this goes to what you're saying. I know you want good people. I get that. So here's the other thing, and this is another broader discussion, is you need what's a slack adjuster. You need another level of service, another offering that is very high end, and you'd have to noodle through what that would entail, but because there will be a percentage of your clients, it'll be a small percentage, but there will be a percentage who will pay substantially more for something that's exclusive and really high value and high touch. It's just like Dan Kennedy's process, the silver, gold, platinum thing. There's always platinums out there. And that's where you're going to really pump up your profit margins. And that is money that goes right into your savings account because you're already paying yourself, or you're already paying your staff well. I assume have a good salary for yourself. So all that money gets socked away, which gives you security.
Yeah. And I do have one such offering. We usually promote it at the end of some of our, transformation challenges because it's the next logical step, but it's the highest accountability offering that we have. And a lot of it actually, like piggybacking off of Rick was doing, a lot of it is focused on the nutritional aspect of taking care of our members.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the place to be because you can't work them out that much more.
No.
Yeah. It's really going to be about the nutrition. Like what Fred said earlier. It's like, I missed my workout. It's like, working out isn't your problem. It's what you're shoveling down your gullet. Yeah. All right. Well, good. Well, those are things we can talk about going forward because I think that's probably one of the key next steps for you is developing a good marketing process around that, your slack adjuster offering, and start selling that, aggressive, not overly aggressively, but making, periodically selling that so that you can pump up those margins because they need to be fatter.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we've been going 2 hours. We're gonna have to figure out a fix on this because that's just too long. We're probably gonna have to open up another call, and that's fine. Just to give everybody a chance without keeping you on too long, guys. Anthony and Ed, really appreciate you guys hanging on the whole time. I mean, and Wayne too. Sorry, you're down there too, Wayne. I know, and Wayne's in his car, so we're not gonna talk to him today. But Wayne shows up for every call, and it's awesome. So thank you guys very much. We will fix this so we're not on this for 2 hours going forward. But we wanted to show you we're here for you. If you need things, you show up on these calls, we'll get to you. We just got to figure out a better mechanism so we don't keep everybody this long. Aaron, any closing thoughts?
That's it. Go get them, boys.
Good. All right, guys, we're going to sign off for today. Thank you all very much for making the time for this. We appreciate it. It was another great call. Have a good weekend. Okay, bye.